Most reviews will tell you the Tudor Black Bay 58 is almost perfect, but after months of real ownership, a lot of people quietly realize something's off. Not because it's bad, but because some problems don't show up in the first week or even the first month. This isn't a hype video. This is what owners only discover after living with the Black Bay 58. Let's break down what really happens after the honeymoon phase ends. At first glance, the Black Bay 58 gets almost everything right. The 39mm case size is widely praised as one of the best proportions Tudor has ever released. It fits a wide range of wrist sizes, and many owners say it feels balanced and comfortable immediately. The matte finishing on the case gives it a proper tool watch aesthetic. It doesn't try to look flashy or polished. Instead, it leans heavily into its vintage dive watch inspiration, which is exactly what many buyers want. The dial is clean, highly legible, and free of unnecessary text. The lack of a date window is often mentioned as a positive, keeping the design symmetrical and uncluttered. However, long-term reviews consistently mention a few design-related drawbacks. The bezel action is one of the most common complaints. While it functions well, many owners describe it as feeling lighter or less refined than expected at this price point. Compared to competitors, the bezel doesn't always deliver that crisp, premium feedback people expect. Another divisive design element is the snowflake handset. Some owners love it for its Tudor identity, but others feel the hands are slightly oversized relative to the dial. Over time, a portion of owners say the design feels less elegant and more utilitarian than they initially expected. The design is strong, but it doesn't universally age the same way for everyone. The bracelet is where opinions start to shift more noticeably. The riveted bracelet design gives the Black Bay 58 a distinct vintage look. Many owners appreciate the aesthetic and find the bracelet comfortable once properly sized. The taper also helps the watch sit nicely on the wrist. But this is also where one of the most discussed long-term issues appears: the clasp. A large number of reviews point out the lack of on-the-fly micro-adjustment. In daily wear, wrist size naturally changes throughout the day due to temperature and activity. Without quick adjustment, achieving a perfect fit can be frustrating. The clasp itself is often described as functional but basic. At this price level, many owners expect a more refined clasp system, especially when compared to modern offerings from competitors. This becomes more noticeable over time. What feels acceptable at first can slowly become a recurring annoyance during daily wear. Inside the Black Bay 58 is Tudor's in-house MT 5402 movement. Technically, this is one of the strongest aspects of the watch. It offers a 70-hour power reserve, officially Swiss-certified chronometer accuracy certification, and a reputation for reliability. Many long-term owners report excellent accuracy, often within a few seconds per day. However, some practical considerations show up in long-term ownership discussions. The movement contributes to the overall thickness of the watch. While the case isn't excessively thick, some owners with smaller wrists mention that the watch was slightly taller than expected for a vintage-inspired diver. Another point often mentioned is the closed caseback. While this is consistent with tool watch heritage, some buyers express disappointment at not being able to see the movement, especially given its in-house status. The movement is technically impressive, but it does come with trade-offs in wearability and presentation. This is where real ownership experience becomes most apparent. The Black Bay 58 is generally comfortable for long periods of wear. Many owners say it disappears on the wrist during daily use, which is exactly what a dive watch should do. That said, the satin finishing on the case shows scratches relatively quickly. This is frequently mentioned in reviews. While some consider this normal wear that adds character, others feel the watch loses its new appearance faster than expected. Another recurring point is wrist comfort around the crown. Depending on wrist shape, some owners report the crown digging slightly into the wrist during certain movements. Perhaps the most interesting long-term observation is emotional. Several owners mention that after the honeymoon phase, the watch can start to feel too safe. It does everything well, but it doesn't always feel exciting. This doesn't make it a bad watch. It simply means it won't satisfy everyone in the long run. The Tudor Black Bay 58 is a very good watch. It's well-built, reliable, and thoughtfully designed. But real ownership reveals areas where expectations don't always match reality. The bezel feel, the clasp, the wear over time. Understanding these points doesn't mean avoiding the watch. It means making an informed decision. And for many people, that difference is what separates a great purchase from a regret.